This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk through this 2022 Puma, and the model number is 28BHSS. Okay, so this is not a floor plan video or a sales video. I'm just going to walk you around and show you some of the parts, some of the components, the appliances, and tell you how they work. So we'll start right back here at the door side rear. Now your trailer hasn't been totally cleaned. We're still prepping it, so it looks dirty, but it will be clean when you come to pick it up. So that your kitchen pulls out here. Okay, this is a griddle right here, and it runs on gas, obviously. And this is an LP hose here. So you have to plug this LP hose into the back of the griddle, and then into this quick connect fitting down here in order to get gas to it. So keep in mind that that has to be plugged in. And you also get an AC refrigerator with it, that sort of thing. Okay, you have a power awning with LED strip. Okay, now this vent right here, this is a vent for the range hood. So when you're running the range hood, you have to remember, so you can reach up here, get on a ladder or whatever you need to do, and you can pull that baffle loose. Just pull it away from the trailer and it'll pop loose. That way it'll vent to the outside. If you don't, it won't completely vent to the outside. So you always want to remember, if you're using the fan in the range hood, you want to open that baffle up. All other times you can just leave it closed, like when you're traveling or in storage, that sort of thing, okay? So we have outside speakers. This is the most common way to get water to the trailer is the city water hookup. If you happen to be camping on a campsite that does not have plumbing, you can always pre-fill your fresh water tank right here and take the water with you, and then you can use the onboard pump to pump the water. So that's what this is for, to fill your fresh water tank. Now also on this side, excuse me, when it comes to plumbing, this is a black tank flush. So after you dump your black tank, you can leave the valve open. You have to leave the valve open. You leave it open, turn on hook the water up, turn it on, it'll spray out the inside of your tank. It will clean off the sensors, that sort of thing, so you get a good reading from it. Okay. Coming up here a little ways, you got a bracket to hang a TV, and you got signal out plus power. Okay. Now this right here, excuse me. Let me look underneath here so I don't give you bad information. Yes, this. If you look up there, you can see there's a shaft with a pin through it. And you also can access it through there. That's to crank your slide room out manually if you need to. If there's ever an issue where it fails, you can always get out of trouble doing that. So that's a good thing to know. Also, while we're talking about that subject, when it comes to your power tongue jack here, you can pull this plug right here and use a crank on it or a socket. And you can also crank it manually too if it happens to fail for whatever reason. So you can always get hitched and unhitched. So those are both good features, of course. All right, so this is your hitch here. It's a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. So we're going to show you how it operates when you come to pick up your trailer. But here we have it right here, and of course that's your dump hose. And there's also a reducer in there to reduce your plug down to as far down as a 20 amp, for example. Of course, you can't run your trailer air conditioning on that many amps, but you can still plug it in at home and do everything else. Okay. Also, this trailer has power stabilizers. There'll be two switches. One switch controls both front, and then the other switch controls both rear. Now, when I come around here, let's take a look at it. Yeah, this has the same setup with if you go to the other side, with the shaft with the pin through it. So those can be cranked manually also. So you can even operate your stabilizers in emergency if you have to. Okay, so you have two LP tanks, obviously, they're full, and there's a automatic changeover regulator. This is your power tongue jack. Okay, excuse me again. This deep cycle marine battery right here, and this is the kill switch for the battery. So if you want to, if you're going to put it in storage for the winter, you can, and you're going to leave the battery on, like many people do, you can just shut it off right there. Just always, otherwise leave it on, because obviously your tow vehicle is going to charge your battery while while it's towing it, and then when you're plugged in, your power converter will be charging the battery, so you always want it on, except when you have it in storage. Okay, water heater. Let me set this down. So this is both gas and electric. Right now it's empty, and you can see the plug is even out. It's empty and is bypassed because we're still winterized. Now this, you need an 1 1/16 6-point socket to take this plug in and out. You also need maybe a 6-inch extension and a ratchet or a bar to break it with. Okay. Never run this without water in it. So, you know, once you de-winterize it or summerize it, whichever term you want to use, you'll make sure you fill this up with water before you turn on the electric heating element or the burner. Now, this switch right here, if you can see it, this switch controls the heating element that's behind this cover right here. So, you have to remember, right now it's off, but you have to turn it on right there. Use the electric heating element. There are also switches inside the trailer, which I'll show you, but just keep in mind that this switch is actually here. Okay. This is your city water hookup, the most common way to get water to the trailer. Okay, this is just like a sprayer / shower to hose people and things off, kids and dogs and feet or whatever you have. Your gray tanks, 2 gray tanks on this trailer. You also have a black tank, of course, and I showed you the black tank flush on the other side, so keep that in mind. This is a 50 amp system, so I mentioned reducers. So you have a 50 amp cord. We give you this reducer here, this dog bone is called, that reduces it down to a 30 amp. Then we give you another one to put on here to reduce it down to a 20 amp, so you can just plug it into a receptacle at home. Everything will work fine, but you can't run the air conditioner on that few of amps, okay? You still pack your trailer, get it ready to go. Okay. This is just signal through from the campground, campground cable, satellite, that sort of thing. Also, you can see that by that housing that we're prepped, pre-wired for a backup camera. So it's a real easy install. You can always add that on. You have a ladder, which is a great thing because you need to inspect your roof. Per the manufacturer, you need to inspect it every 90 days. So every 90 days somebody needs to go up there, look around, look at all the sealant, and make sure there's no cracking or separation where water can get in. And you look at the roof attachments to make sure they didn't get damaged by low branches or road debris flipping up there, something like that. Just give it a good inspection. If you see issues, take care of it immediately. Okay, so going inside. Like I said, it still needs to be cleaned, so. Okay, so I'll get some light in here. Okay, so your slide out switch is right here. That controls your slide room. Your power awning switch is here. Controls the power awning. As you can see. Never leave the awning out unattended, of course. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in, because it will get damaged quickly by the wind, or can get damaged quickly by the wind. And that's strictly an insurance deal there too. There's no warranty for anything like that. Okay, so water pump switch is right here. You would use the water pump to pump water out of the freshwater tank. You also use it to winterize the trailer. To light your water heater on gas is right here. I showed you the electric switch, which is outside in the lower left hand corner. You have your lights here, and then you have your monitor panel. So your battery is charged, freshwater tank is empty, black tank, so on and so forth. It graduates up in 1/3 increments as it fills. Once you get past 2/3, you got to start thinking about dumping the gray in the black tank, of course. So that's your monitor panel. Your keys are hanging right here. We try to always hang them on the faucet if possible. Microwave works like any other microwave. This is the range hood fan I was telling you about. So it vents to the outside, which is good. That's what you want. It doesn't just go through a little charcoal filter and then back into the trailer. But you have to remember that baffle on the outside vent. You have to free that up when you're venting to the outside. There's the fan motor and light, of course. Alright, so here we are at your range. Let me get this out of there. I assume the gas is turned on. If not, I'll just have to talk you through it. But I should have it on because he's still working on it. So obviously you have 3 burners and 3 knobs here. This knob is the sparker. You operate it by turning it clockwise to spark. This is the oven knob on the other end. So let's see if we got the gas turned on. Yep, sure enough. So it's that simple. Okay. Now when it comes to the oven, it's a little bit different. At the bottom, all the way to the back, is a pilot light. Let me see if I can spark it so you can see it. Yep. So that's back where the pilot light is. So what you do is you go to the oven knob, you go to the picture of the pilot light, you depress it, and you keep it depressed during the whole lighting procedure. So you depress it, you start sparking it with the other hand till it lights down here. After it lights, if it doesn't light at first, take your finger off of it, turn it off, then go back on and depress it again. It seems to work better. And eventually, like I said, after it lights, you're still going to hold this for another 10 seconds or so to heat up the pilot, and then you're going to just go to operating temperature. And of course, when you shut it off, it goes out like any other oven, but also the pilot light will turn off. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay, took me a long way to get there, but I got to the point. So refrigerator is a 12-volt DC compressor type refrigerator. Always make sure you latch it that way so you don't get the doors damaged or dinged. Alright, let me look around here, see what I'm missing, if anything. Okay, this device here is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. It should always be green like it is. If not, you get it serviced. If it goes off, it's detected carbon monoxide or LP gas, so you open the door, take everybody out, leave the door open, shut the gas off at the front and figure out what's going on. Alright. Also, if it beeps the same tone but very slowly, it's telling you that your battery's low. So it does 3 different things. LP, carbon monoxide, and low battery. I'll let you hear it here. LP check is good. Carbon monoxide test coming up. Okay, and then of course the low battery alert. And then it goes back to green. Like I said, it should always be green. If it's not, you want to get it serviced. Okay. Let me look around here, see what else we have. This is just a pantry here, of course. I won't go into those things. That's self-evident stuff. Okay, so when it comes to your sound, and now there are going to be remotes for your TV, for your fireplace, and for your stereo here. So, first of all, with the stereo, basically you have 2 speaker zones, zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 1 is inside the trailer, zone 2 is outside the trailer. You have Bluetooth, so you can stream wirelessly from your phone or tablet. You have AM/FM radio. You have a USB port, so you could like take all your albums on one stick with you and just plug them in and you got your whole collection there. And this bottom one is an HDMI, but it's an in, so it's if you want to go into the system. Let's say you had a portable Blu-ray player, for example. You could go straight into the system through there, and then you just select the source, and like you would with any other component, and you're all set. The TV works like any other TV. The fireplace now, like I said, it comes with a remote, but this one I think you can, let me look at it here. Yeah, so this one you change the color of the fire. It's got a blue, red, and purple type thing to it. And then you can change the color of the crystals this way. Okay? Low, if you can see that, that's the fan speed. High, that's the fan speed. And then eventually you get to off, but low and high. Okay? And then there's a thermostat also on it. So it does a lot. And it's a really good space heater. And the neat thing about it is that, you have a limited supply of LP gas. So you can turn it on in the morning and, for example, on the cool mornings and take the chill right out of the trailer without using any of your limited supply of gas, because it does just run on 110 AC. So it's a good thing to use for that. Alrighty. I'm looking for the power converter. I bet you it's back here. I want to tell you about it before I get to... Oh, here we go. Yeah. So I'm in the bunk room now, but this is the power converter. So what this thing does is it converts AC to DC power. So I'm going to open it when I find the right button here. There we go. Okay. So on this side you've got regular fuses like a like you would see at home. Or I'm sorry, I call them fuses. I mean circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and then they're all labeled, just 110 AC. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC, And so this is where your DC power will come from when you're plugged in. Now keep in mind that this is a battery tender, so it's always going to charge your battery. As long as you're plugged in, it'll sense how much energy your battery needs. And if it's charged, it'll topped off, it'll just trickle a couple amps to maintain it. If it's low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever you need. So it's also, like I said, it converts AC to DC power, and it also charges your battery. That's the power converter. Okay, while we're in the bunk room, we can just look around here. This couch obviously jackknifes flat into a bed, so you got a lot of sleeping room here. You have TV hookups here, signal and power, and there's a backer plate there so you can hang a TV. It's either a piece of sheet metal or a piece of wood, depending on the model. I don't know which this one has, but there is. You can feel right there. It is thicker, so you got something to screw a bracket into. Right now we're in the stowed position with the table. You see it takes 2 poles, and that's also, you can use that as a bed, of course. I think I saw the poles up front. I'll tell you in a second. Then you have theater seating here, which is pretty self-evident. The poles were down here. Yeah, so there's your poles. Now, I showed you the power tongue jack, right? This 3/4 inch crank will work on the power tongue jack. I showed you how you can operate the stabilizer jacks and the slide outs manually. And remember I showed you it was a shaft with a pin through it? Well, here you have a cylinder with a slide cut in it, so that you can stick that on those jacks around the slide room and crank it in and out in an emergency. It'll take you a lot of cranking, but it beats driving home with your slide out or something like that. So it's a good thing. Plus, there are tools available. You can find them online where you would put that. They have that type of end that you can put it right into your drill. Okay, that way you don't have to crank it. You can just let your drill do all the work. Okay. All right. So this is pre-wired for 2 air conditioners. That's why you have a 50 amp system. You just have the 1 air conditioner. What the sticker's telling us is that it's pre-wired. The second air conditioner would fit right in there. It's real easy installed. And so if you spend a lot of time in the southwest or the south period in the summertime, some people like to add a second air conditioner. Okay. Also, this is your emergency window. It's very simple. You're just going to pull this loose, push it all the way through, and then you grab a hold of this red tab, pull out the screen, and you can escape that way in an emergency. Okay. And we didn't do the bathroom yet, so let's try that. Okay, so you have a separate entry door, which is great. Kids can run in and out, grandkids can run in and out without going through the trailer. Your shower and sink work like any other sink and shower. The toilet is an RV toilet, so the thing to remember, that right there is just antifreeze right now. The black tank is directly below here. You see I just stepped on the flush pedal right there, if you can see that. So you can't use it dry. When I'm talking about dry, I'm talking about the black tank, which is directly below. So when you pull into the campground, you hook up your power, your water, you'll come in here, and you'll dump 1 dose of chemical, whichever brand you use. Just read the directions and go from there. And then you step on the pedal, and water will come swirling around and wash the chemical and the water right into the black tank. You stand on the pedal until you put about a gallon or so of water in the black tank. Some people use more, it's up to you, but the main thing is you can't use it dry. It has to have water and chemical in it. Otherwise the smell will be terrible and it can get clogged up also. So make sure you do that. We have a fan. Always run the fan with the shower also to pull the humidity out, because these trailers are built super tight these days, so you don't want to create an environment where mold or mildew could grow, so make sure you vent. Alright, so let me look around here, see if I forgot anything. I think I pretty much covered it. Another escape window, this one's in the back. So, okay, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. And please remember what I said about inspecting your roof every 90 days. It's important. If you see any, you could go up there for years and not have to do anything, but that's why you're inspecting it, just to make sure. If you see an issue, take care of it immediately. Also, I stated that this trailer right now is winterized. The water heater is empty, it's in bypass mode, and there's antifreeze in the system. So, okay, thank you very much.